Good evening and welcome to the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of July 6, 2021. If you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It's good that I don't have to read the state of emergency things first.
Please.
Want to have it for
fun.
Just for fun, yes.
We'll laminate it.
The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. Currently, the board does have 5 elected members and 1 alternate. If anyone's interested in serving on the ZBA, you are asked to see Nancy Larson in Town Hall for more information. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from the applicants, abutters, and affected parties, and to ask questions about the appeal. The public hearing will then be closed and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the application. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You're welcome to watch the deliberations here tonight, or you can also call Nancy in the morning tomorrow if you'd like. For an applicant's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. We do have 5 members here tonight, so we are good. An applicant can request a continuance if there's not a full 5-member board to act on an application. If you're aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to Superior Court. However, before appealing to Superior Court, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing requests must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. Failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to a Superior Court. And with that, I'm going to ask that the board introduce themselves, and we'll start with Nancy.
Nancy Larson, Zoning Code Enforcement Officer.
Denise Langley, member.
Gail LeBrecq, I'm chair.
Leonard Stewart, Vice Chairman.
Sandra Parker, member.
Alan Yaton, member.
Thank you. And the first item of business tonight is the minutes to the ZBA meeting of June 1st. I will entertain corrections or a motion.
A motion? Go ahead.
I'll move that the minutes be accepted and submitted.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. And do we have any comments or corrections on them? Okay, then I will take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
And any against or abstaining? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, and our first application for the evening is David Vermakowitz, applicant owner seeking 1 variance and 1 special exception to construct an accessory dwelling unit that will exceed the maximum square footage of 800 gross square feet, where 840 gross square feet is proposed. A variance to construct an accessory dwelling unit on an inadequate lot size was granted by the board at the June 1st, 2021 meeting. This concerns Section 5.2 and Section 5.2.1 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 221 Elm Street, map 36, lot 36. Is that right?
3636.
Okay, I was wondering if it was a typo.
36, lot 36.
And it's zoned residential 1. You guys want to come up and tell us about your plan? But before we get started, I do want to entertain a motion regarding regional impact.
I'll motion there's no regional impact.
One second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any against or abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, and if you would state your names and address for the record, please.
David Vermakowitz, 221 Elm Street in Goffstown.
Ray Vermakowitz, 221 Elm Street.
You look the same as you did on the videos. You do not. Just saying. But welcome back. Okay, tell us about your new plan.
We're going with the in-law suite. We're going with a little bit over because we're doing an oversized staircase for a assisted lift in the staircase. So that's why we're a little over now.
Yeah. Okay. Any other changes? Well, it needs to be significantly different than the first plan you got. So what other changes make it significantly different with the square footage?
We took out the built-in deck area.
The screened-in porch?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
That and the
three-season
closet.
porch.
And the closet
space.
And the closet
space shrunk.
So we dropped
So the
off-
whole size shrunk by quite a bit to fit the 840 square feet.
Okay. Is that it? Anything else you want to add? Board have any questions?
No. Thank you.
Alex?
I always have questions.
Yes, we know.
You know,
Go ahead.
So we're replacing a barn
Yes,
with a living unit and garage.
yes.
How do we do that?
I took the barn down.
I know he did. That's a given. I did take it down too, excuse me. Is there any, how can you rebuild something that's different, use is different when you tear something down? I'm asking Nancy.
It's an accessory dwelling unit, so whether you're incorporating it into the existing home, or whether you're incorporating it into an existing garage, or in many cases, we have people who are building new garage additions and incorporating an accessory dwelling unit into that. It's allowed by zoning. It's not a change of use of the property.
Can you
It's a
explain to me
single-family
where
home
it's
with an
allowed?
accessory dwelling unit.
Can you explain to me where it's allowed? What paragraph allows it?
Sure, I think it's 5.1. Let me just grab
I couldn't find it.
ordinance. If you, 5.2 has the criteria for accessory dwelling units, and then in the table of uses, for table of accessory uses, which is 3.12, and accessory, use A, accessory to principal residential use. If you go down to, let's see, accessory building, number 6, accessory attached dwelling unit. It's a special exception, allowed by special exception in the conservation open space, the agricultural
What
districts.
page are you on?
It is on page 36.
Okay.
The R1, R2, and RSBO1 all allow it by special exception, and then the RSBO2 and Village Commercial allows it by conditional use permit, have to be granted by the
Don't
planning
they have
board.
to meet the current zoning setbacks?
Yes, they do.
What's the current zoning setback front yard?
They are in the residential one, and if I recall from your last testimony, you're moving
Moving the
the
barn
addition
back.
back. Well, don't call it a barn.
Well, sorry,
It may be
moving the-
Confusing.
Yeah.
The front setback for the R1 is 25 feet.
So that would be set back on the side of the house.
Yes.
Because I think the porch, whatever that porch is on the house, is probably pretty close to the street.
Is that the family room?
Actually, the house,
Is that,
Yeah,
other
the house
section of
and the
house
front
is-
porch is
oh,
pretty
Closer
that
than
close.
front
that,
porch,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be behind the front
Okay,
of the house.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That family room that you refer to, is that, that lines up with your driveway? It appears from the,
There's like a screen porch or little porch on the front of the house.
I don't want to, isn't helpful for the viewers at home, but right next to the barn, I'm just,
Yeah, it's gonna be
Assuming-
almost in line with that, but it's gonna be
And-
well behind the front of the house.
right, but the structure referred to, is that what's shown on and described on your ADU plan as the,
Yes.
as
yes.
your,
The
family room or
great room
den?
or great
Yeah,
room, I think
yeah.
it was. Yeah.
okay, all right, thank you.
Go ahead.
Have you managed to buy that little strip on the road next to the garage?
I wish.
Have you tried?
It's owned by the duplexes behind my house.
I know. I thought it was rather weird.
It is.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just that random strip that runs down the edge of the road.
Okay. All right. So that new barn that you built, I like it, by the way.
The garage thing?
How close is it to your property line?
That one? The
Yeah.
side property?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like 20 feet off the side property. I think the side setback was 15.
Yeah, oh, I know. I didn't know, because it's hard to determine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Nope.
Anybody else have questions?
No.
Do you want to review your variance? Well, yeah, we've got the variance and special exception criteria that need to go into the record.
That was the statement I think you made last time for us when we were on the Zoom.
Right.
So which one, what do you need?
Well, we need your statements for both the variance and the special exception. I'll let you choose whichever one we pick first.
You have those, right?
Yeah.
You want a card?
I mean, I can read them if you'd rather.
If you can, I have a hard time reading this.
Who wrote it? I'm presuming you did.
Yeah, no, I dictated. My mom wrote it.
Oh, okay.
And she's a lefty.
Oh,
I
okay.
can never read what she
Easy
writes.
now.
Yeah, don't insult left-handers.
At least
They're a
she didn't
special
write
bunch.
it in. She writes in shorthand a lot of times.
Ah, okay, all right, I will read them for you into the record. The variance is required because an accessory dwelling unit is limited to 800 square feet, and you're proposing 840. The stairway is a handicap chair, so it's wider by about 60 square feet. It will not be contrary to public interest because the public is not impacted by replacing the barn with an in-law apartment, does not impinge on boundaries, and maintains historic look. The spirit of the ordinance is observed because it provides much-needed housing for seniors with living, eating, bed, and bathroom. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it enables affordable housing in allowable area with outside deck keeping in character with the neighborhood. The values of the property will not be diminished, or surrounding properties. Single-family homes, including an abutting duplex, already exist. And hardship owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. Denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because, and then the first is no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because the variance asking for additional 40 square feet is to provide necessary access for the second floor and reduce size from 28 by 38 to 28 by 30 and reduce storage and garage space. The proposed use is a reasonable one because it allows us to remain in town and continue to contribute to the community and to the local economy, replaces the old barn and retains the aesthetics of it, health, general, and welfare of inhabitants, preserves property values. And then for section B, you said ADU is a reasonable use allowed, it's a reasonable use of the property. And then you extended that to say that the previously enclosed porch is now a covered deck porch, which is an exception from the square footage allowed. And then additional 40 square feet for the variance would allow the ADU, which is a goal of the recently updated master plan. Okay, does that sound about right?
Sounds good, yeah.
Anything you want to add to that? You want to
No,
expand
that
on
was
that at all?
everything.
Denise, you look like you have a
Nope,
question.
I do not.
Okay, anybody else? Any, Alan? Okay, I'm going to open the hearing to the public. Does the public have any questions or comments? Okay, then I am going to close the public hearing, and the board is going to deliberate on this application. And where do you want to begin? Do we?
I'm ready to make a motion.
So am I. They've met all the requirements in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole 40 extra square feet because it's an ADU, handicap accessible.
So we'll say Sandra's making the motion.
Go ahead.
I do want to make
Denise
a
is seconding
motion.
it. To grant, wait a minute, to grant the variance or the special exception, we're gonna take them one at a time.
Okay, I will, I don't like doing this.
We can reverse it and give it back to Denise.
No, we can do it, but it was, the first thing we read was for the variance.
Was for the
Right.
variance,
So that's
yeah.
what it would be for. So you can continue.
All right, walk me through this one.
Go
Okay.
to, a
To-
lot of times I go by
Look at
staff
your-
reports.
Yeah, or you can
Or
look
the
at your
minutes.
agenda.
So the
The
variance
agenda,
to
I mean.
construct an accessory dwelling unit that will exceed the minimum square footage, or the maximum square footage of 800 gross square feet, where 840 is proposed.
Okay.
Does that sound about right for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. And we have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstaining? You have your variance. Let's see what's up for the special exception. Do we have a motion regarding the special exception?
Do we have to read that in
Yeah.
to the?
Yeah,
to the
we should.
thing? Oh, no, do we have, they didn't read the special exception criteria.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the motion. You're right. We need to go on to the special exception to be able to read that. Let's see.
You did such a great job on the first one.
Okay, here we go again. The special exception is required to construct an 840 gross square feet accessory dwelling unit above a proposed garage to be attached to the house. The specific site is an appropriate location for such use, being consistent with the town's current master plan because it's an allowable use maintaining historic appearance and is compatible with the neighborhood. The size or frequency of the use will not significantly alter the character of the neighborhood because it replaces the old barn. The use will not create a nuisance or hazard to vehicles or pedestrians in a manner that cannot be ameliorated because it's located between the house and garage, providing parking off existing driveway. The proposed location is of sufficient size to allow for adequate and appropriate facilities for the proper operation of the use because it meets accessory use dwelling requirements and does not impede use of or access to the property. The proposed location is of sufficient size to allow for appropriate buffers of this use to adjacent properties because it does not impinge on any abutter. And other issues and matters, looking to make the unit handicap accessible with a stairway chair.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. Does the board have any comments?
No?
Is there any requirements for sewage disposal system? I thought I read that in a report someplace.
Do you have
Is this municipal services or
well and
they're on a
septic?
septic
They're on-
system?
No, we have to do a septic plan.
And just keep it on file?
Yes.
Is that what they request?
Well,
Okay.
the,
No.
There was no record
there
of,
was, yes, there's, because the DES had no record, we have no record of
Oh.
a design, they actually have to construct it.
Oh, you have to
That's fine.
construct a whole new
Yes,
septic
we have to
system?
construct it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
And that'll be taken care of during the building permit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
okay. So we don't, that's not
We-
anything under our purview?
Well, you don't need to worry about it, if you can certainly incorporate it into a motion if you like, but before a building permit is issued, Mark makes certain that the approval for construction for the new design is received from the DES.
Make
And
sure,
then
make sure
prior-
what?
Approval for construction of the septic, the new.
So it doesn't have to
septic.
actually be constructed?
For the CO, before issuance of the certificate of occupancy or
It has
final
to be
sign-off.
constructed according to the notes I read.
It has to be constructed, but it's
Okay.
2 phases, so they can start building only once the building department receives
Okay,
the approval
Okay.
letter on the new design from the DES, saying that we've not only approved the design, but we've also approved it for construction. So we receive both of those letters, so once we receive the approval for construction from the state, then the building permit can be issued. But the new space, the accessory dwelling unit, can't be occupied until
It's done.
the approval for construction is, well, I should say, the construction itself and the final sign off by the state
Right.
of the new system has to take place before the ADU can be occupied.
To get a CO from the building department,
Right,
he has to have the new system installed.
right.
And an operational approval
Correct.
given by the state.
Yeah, operational approval, thank you.
Okay. You get all that?
Yep, we
Yep.
know that, yep.
Okay. Okay,
And you thought it was gonna be easy.
Oh, we knew this was gonna have to be done.
okay. Any other comments or questions, Alan?
No,
Sandra?
I'm good.
No.
Glenn?
No.
No?
Okay, do we, let me open this portion to the public regarding the special exception. Any comments from the audience? And I'm going to close the public hearing and the board will deliberate. Do we have a discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, with those conditions about the septic?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and so we have a vote, we have the motion to approve, we have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstaining? Motion carries.
By the way,
Glad
the
you
place
came
is
back.
looking good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get this part done so I can actually landscape it. I haven't wanted to do
Gonna hire
it.
somebody? to
High
do that?
expectations.
We may have to.
I was gonna ask you.
We have
do you
high
do any good
expectations of
people?
Oh,
that.
yeah, it's tough.
You are set.
Thank
On
you.
your special
Thank you.
exception and your variance.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You did your homework well.
It's a lot of homework to do this summer.
I'm so glad to see them coming back.
Yeah.
I really was.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, next we have
Good night.
a volunteer application. Judy, would you like to join us
I
at the
don't know.
table, please?
Come on down,
Welcome
dude.
back. We've missed you.
We have.
Thank you. I missed you all also.
No, you,
Don't be shy.
We got your resume. Maybe you're overqualified, I'm not sure. So, for the record, tell us.
Yes, I'd like to, I heard there were openings on the zoning board again, and so what I'd do is I'd like to volunteer. I've just recently gone from a reduced work hours to 20 hours a week, semi-retirement,
Ooh.
and willingly.
Oh, okay, that's a good
willingly.
thing,
And
yeah,
so
that's
I
great.
feel, I'd like to be active in the town again, and I felt comfortable here, and I have more time that I would like to put into, I was a little bit busier before, and I didn't have sufficient time, I felt, to
Well, you're allowed to have a life.
participate. So I'd like to try to enhance my skills some more
Right?
Okay.
and help if I can, yeah.
Anybody have questions for Judy?
Yes. How do you get to 20 hours a week? I don't even know. From your experience, how do you do it?
I work for SAU 19 now. That's how you do it.
Oh.
Yeah, I work at Bartlett.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
You own your own company.
And my grandson goes.
Yeah, right.
Well,
You own your own company.
I'm
There's no such
76
thing-
years old.
Well, either you give it to the kids.
yeah, it's
or
trying to
you-
retire.
No,
Or,
it's
you
not,
know,
actually.
Keeps them out of trouble.
No.
Keeps you busy. Keeps-
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions?
No, I'm
when
just
can we
happy to
get
see
vote
you.
on it?
Well, we need a motion.
I motion to accept her
I
application.
second that.
And
If we
let's
don't watch
take,
out, then we'll be outnumbered.
We already are, Alan, we already are.
and it was, you wanted a one-year term
Yes.
till March, it's March 31st, 2022?
it's on, yeah, it's on, it's slot number 3. for, well, actually it says I have the date that it ends, and I don't have.
I thought I remembered it
that
just-
cheat sheet. I think it is one term.
Yeah, because I remember reading that. I don't have it on me, but I do
Yeah,
remember
I
reading
thought
it.
I had it on me too, but I don't, I apologize, but it's the 1-year term. I may have, let me check, I'll give these for everyone, just to sign both of those. It's the same thing, just
Yes, after we sign these, you'll be able to get yourself sworn in before our next meeting. And then Kathy at Town Hall can do it. There's actually a few at Town Hall that can do it. So you want to sign that, and I'll pass it down.
So you actually had slot 3 before, according to this information that Kathy Ball had printed out. Your appointment ran from 2017 to 2019. So that slot, if I'm doing it correctly, would end next year, 2022.
So who has a 3-year slot? It started in 18 months.
I just took the 3-year slot for the number.
Okay. I forgot.
No, you're a member. Yeah, you're the,
Yeah,
but
she
you're a
has
member,
a-
you're not an
She has a
alternate.
three,
member now.
she has a
I'm a
3-year.
Yeah.
And then-
Jason took my spot for the alternate.
Yeah, his
You're
runs
good.
from
You let me
2019.
stay?
Yeah, okay. You will.
That's right, yeah, I have it here, it's 2019 to 2022 is
Jason's.
Jason's and then Judy's at the board.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
all right. So we have, Alan, you made the motion, right?
I'll make a
Did
motion
you?
to approve.
Yeah, and I seconded it.
Okay, all right. Or did you make the motion?
I don't, I make
Okay,
the record show.
sorry.
Let the record
Okay, so we have the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against?
No.
Any abstaining?
No,
No.
speak for the
You're
whole
in.
board.
That's right.
Shannon,
You're
We
in,
all said
thank you.
yes.
Shannon,
Thank
you
you for
wanna sign
coming
that
back.
second one?
And I have some presents for you.
It's nice that you're all back again, too.
It is.
Yes, it is.
It's, I love being back.
It's been quite a year and a half.
That it has.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, I think the unanimous opinion is Zoom meetings suck.
Oh,
I've been in way too many of them.
Well, we still have 2 rehearing requests. You're welcome to hang out and kind of watch if you want, or you're welcome to leave if you'd rather, whatever you want to do.
These won't take long.
Oh, I'll stay.
excuse me.
So, new zoning ordinance. This actually, I saw today on the state's website, the handbooks, everyone should know, the zoning board of adjustment New Hampshire handbook, the state updated it for 2020 with a publication date of 2021 this year, so they updated it this year with any legislative changes from last year. So I'll check with Joanne with her budget to see if we can order the new ones. It's far less costly than us printing it out in the office, and there are a lot of pages, a lot of paper, a lot of toner. So I'll work on that. Rules of procedures and RSA's. Happy reading. Welcome back.
Yes. Okay, we're going to continue our applications, and we have 2 rehearing requests. The first one is from Sharon DeRocher regarding the zoning board decision rendered on May 4th, 2021, denying the variance request to construct a 6-foot by 32-foot front porch, approximately 5.6 feet from the front property boundary, whereas 25 feet is required. Map 13, Lot 31. The property is located at 16 St. Anselm's Drive in the Residential 2 District. Does anybody have comments on that?
I'm refused.
Okay, then you need to leave the table, please, because that takes away any look that you're part of the board. Thank you. And okay, so Sandra is recusing herself from this, and so it's just the four of us who will be voting. And board, comments, discussion?
After reading the applicant's statement and her pointing out that her builder left before we were able to get the presentations started, I seem to remember this was the night from hell with technical difficulties.
Oh, we waited an hour.
Yeah.
And waited more than an hour for it. I would be inclined to grant the rehearing to give her the opportunity to present additional evidence that we weren't able to get to because of her professional's absence in that.
And I do think we need to make a concession considering it was a tough night.
It was a tough night.
electronically.
And as I say, I just think it's the opportunity to make sure we
I
have
agree.
all of the evidence
the right
before we
thing
make
to
a
do.
decision.
Alan?
I would like to see somebody who is qualified to identify the front property line and give us an exact dimension from the corners of the house, period.
Do you want a full boundary survey?
I didn't
or
say
do you
that, I
want
said
it
the
all-
front property line
Okay,
and distances back
Just-
to the house.
want to be clear.
I thought it was.
And that, because that being said, and following on Alan's point, I drove by the property today.
It's right out there.
It is tight to the front, and it's probably only
And we all
And
know it
2
doesn't
foot
go to the
sidewalk.
pavement.
But I don't want to debate it at
And
this
some of the-
point, I just want to grant the rehearing.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the information given to us, the first site plan that was submitted didn't have the deck going all the way to the ends of the house on either end. And there was a question that somebody made about the length of the deck. At the hearing, the deck was extended to both ends of the house. Two different criteria, two different bits of information. So, question would be, make sure that she identifies what she's asking for.
Well, I think if we do grant a rehearing and she has her professional there, I think possibly the explanation and the details will be a little more,
Somebody did a site plan. Somebody should be responsible for it.
yeah? Okay,
Madam Chair?
yes.
I did speak to Sharon DeRocher today, and she said that she'll be out of town for the August 3rd meeting. So if the zoning board grants the request for the rehearing, she's wondering if it could be held at the next meeting, the September meeting, and I would ask her to, put that request in writing, granting the board the ability to just postpone the placing it on the agenda. The other option, she said, she is available by phone, which I want to do a little more research, but I was reading the state statute 91A, and it appears that there are some provisions for that, but I would feel more comfortable and would suggest that
Yeah.
just have it in person, and then that way she can hopefully bring her contractor to
Right.
the meeting, and maybe he can explain
Right.
exactly what it is that
Yeah.
she's
Well,
requesting.
for me, that would be my intent if I were to vote to in favor of this rehearing, is because of the contractor having to leave because of the fiasco of that particular night. So I personally would be amenable to a September meeting or a September hearing for it,
September 7th is our next scheduled date, correct?
as long as we get it in writing from her that it's okay.
Yes.
And one of the things is, what day are we gonna meet on? The 7th is the day after Labor Day.
It's okay, we've done that before, I think.
And today's the day after,
After
Huh?
4th of July holiday.
4th of July federal
Right,
holiday,
yeah.
same difference.
Are you going to be here?
he's like,
That's
I
what was
don't plan to
talking
be.
about.
No. You're gone for that period of time?
No, I have a car show on Elm Street,
Oh,
Aw.
and I'm gonna be dead tired by the time I get done. Okay, You can do it, you don't have to have me here.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
have
we'll-
alternates.
We'll have alternates.
That's right.
The only thing I'd like to say is, you know, in looking at the site, because I spent a good deal of time over there Monday afternoon after I got back. Because I got my packet sometime, I think, on Saturday, and I didn't receive it to open it until Monday when I got home. I went over there, and it's right out there.
Okay, time out. We
Yep.
shouldn't start discussing the property and the plan and stuff right now. We should wait for the rehearing and the presentation. We're just discussing the possibility for the rehearing.
Well, isn't that part of it?
Not
Madam
tonight.
Chair?
Not tonight. Not tonight. Not to discuss the
Well,
property
I would like
itself.
to make a motion
Okay,
that we will rehear this
Grant the-
case.
Grant the request for the.
Right, we're gonna
rehearing.
grant the request for a rehearing, and we ask that she puts in writing that she cannot make it to the August meeting, and then we will agree to meet in September.
Yeah, that she grants the board permission to delay placing it on.
Yes.
Due to her, schedule or something.
okay. Do we have a second?
Okay, and can we, before we second it, can we add something to that? What was Alan's request?
The front
Oh,
boundary
thank
line
you.
and this distance,
Identifying the
front boundary
property
line and the distance
By a
back to the
qualified
house?
individual.
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll put those two things in my,
And I'll second it with that
Thank you.
proviso.
Okay, so we have the motion. We have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstaining? Motion carries 400.
Is there an open for the public now?
No, not for rehearings.
Okay.
No. That's okay. But you can come back now.
who made the second?
Len.
Len.
Thank you.
Okay, the next rehearing request, let me see if I can find it, is a rehearing request from attorney Melissa J. Farr, Alfano Law Office, regarding zoning board decision rendered on June 1st, 2021, denying variance request to subdivide one lot into two non-conforming lots for Gregory Clausen. The property is located at 14 St. Anselm Drive, map 13, lot 32, in the residential 2 district. And what does the board have to say?
Well, there were some serious accusations there made by that attorney. And I want the record to show that they were there. Because they went after Sandy. And that's in the note that she sent. So I want her note read into the record as part of this procedure.
Which part?
I want the whole thing read.
This letter is a request for a rehearing regarding the decision of denial from the May 4th, 2021 hearing of the property located at 16 St. Anselm Drive in Goffstown, map 13, lot 31. Asking for a motion for rehearing due to the decision of denial for a front porch is unreasonable. Also, it took the board approximately 1 hour to get this hearing started.
That's a-
Oh, wrong
You're
one.
wrong.
I was gonna say, I just saw the name.
It's the
The one
yes,
on the letterhead.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
It is, okay. Sorry. Please accept this correspondence as my client's request or motion for a rehearing in connection with the Zoning Board of Adjustment written decision dated 6/1/21 regarding the above referenced variance of subdivision approval. This request for rehearing is based upon the ZBA's decision that my client should be denied a variance of subdivision approval based on non-conforming lot measurements and decide the application is unlawful and unreasonable, and that it would be unjust for the ZBA to deny this request for rehearing. The decision indicates that the ZBA's decision to deny the application was solely based upon the non-conforming lot measurements listed in the variance request, though the lot measurements proposed are in conformity with the remainder of the neighborhood, West Side Terrace, since its establishment in 1909. In addition to this, facts have come to light regarding what I can only assume would be site walk that was performed by Zoning Board of Adjustment member Sandra Jean Parker on 6/1/21, just prior to the zoning board of adjustment meeting in which my client's variance request would be heard. Upon information and belief, Ms. Parker trespassed onto my client's property without permission or notification to take photos and videos of the property. This resulted in my client's tenant contacting the Goffstown Police as she was placed in fear of Ms. Parker's actions and concern for the well-being of her young child. As its procedure expressly states, the Town of Goffstown Zoning Board of Selectmen Rules of Procedure requires a member of the board to disqualify themselves in the event that they expect to gain or lose upon the disposition of the case and/or are prejudiced to any degree regarding the case. In addition, if there is uncertainty as to a member's personal interest in the subject matter to be considered, that member or another member of the board may request the board vote on the question of disqualification. Here, Ms. Parker lives 2 houses away from the property in question. Therefore, any variance proposal my client applies for in which he seeks subdivision of his property will directly impact Ms. Parker's property. Not only did Ms. Parker improperly fail to disqualify herself, she trespassed onto my client's property for her own personal benefit. None of the required steps listed in the Town of Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment Rules of Procedure as it pertains to Ms. Parker's actions were followed in this case, resulting in an unethical and biased decision against my client. Please accept and grant the foregoing as Mr. Clausen's request for rehearing, from which a decision upon the merits may be issued to redress the ZBA's unlawful and unreasonable decision in this matter. My comments to that, if I can take a second.
Maybe you should read into it who wrote this.
Oh, yes, that was written by Melissa J. Farr, Esquire. As far as her need to recuse herself, that's,
She wasn't even here.
no, but
I
she
was
was,
on, I
she
was
was-
on the phone.
she was on the phone. She was
But
part of the meeting.
just so the facts are known, this was done, me taking pictures from my car on the public road. Never set 1 foot on her property. And I did have the police come to me, and I did have them say to me, she didn't like that you took a picture of that. I said, oh, I'm very sorry. I said, that was not the case. I just wanted to get the picture of why it's not big enough for 3 cars. At that point in time, he asked me a bunch of questions. He said, well, maybe you could have introduced yourself. I said, you know what? I never left the car. So, next time, I said, unfortunately, I don't have an ID, which I really do think we should have IDs.
We should.
I'm going to work on that.
But at that point in time, like I said, I never set 1 foot on her property. I didn't speak to her. I didn't do anything other than what was supposed to be our duty, which was to take a look at what they have currently there, and does it fall within the guidelines of the zoning of what they're asking for. That's it.
I have a question. Does it not, when you apply for a
Number
variance?
6. Number 6.
Can you quote it?
Almost.
Okay.
It's on the top of the second sheet.
You're giving this board permission to be on that property, to
Both
look,
the,
to
both the
review.
applicant and the owner have to sign
Where
it.
is that?
It's on the application form.
On the application form.
That we have a right, as a member of a board,
Well, I knew that was the case. I couldn't find it anywhere, but I don't have the
it's on
application.
the top of
form.
her application.
But,
I'll just open up the application. I'm on the
okay,
website.
my thing is, we should be going to see the properties if we can. But we should also notify the property owners that we're going to be there. Even if we're just gonna be, my opinion, even if we're just gonna be,
If no one is there and you're on public property, you do not have to notify anybody that you're there.
In this instance, I was around the corner, I took pictures of the back of the house and how many cars were there and how it was set up. And when I came around to take a picture of the front area, I didn't realize, she was right in front of me and just whipped in. I turned around, went to take a picture, and she was getting out to take her child out. So I can understand if she got a little nervous because someone was taking a picture, but if it doesn't matter. If someone's on a public road, they have the right to take pictures, even if it wasn't me. Yeah.
Even if it's Google Earth, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
by the same token, I did exactly what Sandra's talking about today. I wanted to look at the property. I went to St. Anselm's Drive. I took a couple of loops around the block, so I was able to examine both the front and the back. I didn't take pictures, but, you know, I
I
saw
mean-
no need to announce myself that I was coming to look at it.
No,
and I
because,
didn't get out of the
because
car.
you didn't get out of the car and you weren't taking pictures and things. I think for me, where you were taking pictures and you did see her, it might have been a courtesy to just go.
Absolutely. You know what? I didn't think of it at the time. I just was quickly taking a picture. I think it was like an hour before, just because I was like, I wanted to have, you know, stuff in front of my face.
Okay.
But, you know, sure, I will take that to the next, you know, drive-by that I do, and I would be more than happy. I mean, I don't know if we have put that down in here where we can actually contact them, call them on their cell phone. Maybe that's something we need to do.
Well, if,
You have a right to be on the property.
I know that, but, you know, in this instance, to me, this is a bit of slander. Nobody asked me.
It's a bit anal.
And, you know, the police came by and the police were like, oh, no problem. And they investigated and there was nothing that was really needed to be said about, other than the fact that, like, oh, maybe we should give a call and maybe you should have an ID. But this right here is to me slanderous to my
Oh, I
character.
agree, I agree.
And I want that noted. I mean, at this point in time, I don't know what we can do about that, but I'd like to have that removed.
Madam Chair?
yes.
So when I was reviewing this quickly with you a little while ago over the phone, I was looking at everything too quickly, and as Alan said, it's number 6 on section 6 of the application. It's that section that the applicants have to read the various paragraph
initial.
statements and initial
The initial
one.
one.
So, right, so it reads, property view, submission of this application constitutes authorization by and permission of the property owner for reasonable access to the subject property.
Oh, yes,
for the
it
purpose
does.
of making observations and reviewing the content, accuracy, and other circumstances of the application. Said authorization and permission shall extend to each of the members of the ZBA and such other town employees, boards, commissions, and representatives as may have any responsibility, duty, or task relating to the application. Initial here.
Okay. It is there. Okay.
Well, maybe that could be
Thank you, Alan,
sent,
for
something
reminding
that
me.
does have
I
that,
knew it was somewhere,
that
I
page
just-
with your signature and initials sent to them.
I don't know why.
Just that they understand that she had full right to do, she
And-
could have been on the property, which,
I was not.
right, but even if you could have been, and
And while it might have been courteous to say something, courtesy is not necessarily, while it's nice, it's not absolutely required either.
I mean, at this point in time, like I said, I feel this is a slander, and I'd like to,
That's why lawyers say on information and belief.
yeah, I mean, this is just taking one person's perspective, and
Now
that's
we'll
it.
have both persons' perspective on
on tape.
Okay,
the record.
I'll write it up.
And, but neither, that particular matter itself is not, in my opinion, a reason for rehearing.
No.
And the attorney didn't really give reasons for the rehearing request.
No, and for, as far as her recusing herself, that's her decision, I believe.
She's not in a butter.
It is.
And it is her decision.
It's her decision.
The board could take a vote and make a recommendation. The decision is always up to,
It's always up to the person,
Where does it say
always up
that?
to the person.
Where does it say that?
what?
The board can take a vote.
Doesn't
And
mean
that's
you have to
state-
obey,
It's
you
in
have
the
to
handbook.
follow it.
It's,
Huh?
In the state statutes, it says the board, under the information for recusal, the board can take a vote on whether they feel the board member should recuse him or herself, but it's non-binding.
Correct.
That's the point.
Right.
Non-binding.
So-
right,
It's-
that's what I said. I didn't use those words, but that's what I said.
Okay.
Right.
And the only argument that I can see that the attorney offers in this menu, or the memo that they've offered here, is
called
it conforms to the neighborhood as laid out in 1909, and that's, you know, not, it's,
And there's several big lots here,
It's-
subdivided over time.
yeah, but it's non-conforming now, would be creating much more non-conformity by subdividing it.
Okay, so do we have a motion regarding the request for hearing to grant it or to deny
I'll
it?
make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
Could you please state the reasons why, just to be clear in the minutes.
Since
It could,
when-
it could just be as simple as just one statement that,
They didn't
Just not-
prove.
Failure to state any substantial grounds for
Rehearing.
a rehearing. They're not offering any new information or,
well, it's also based on whether or not the board made an error in their decision-making.
Was
So-
no error made?
Well, I don't think the
There-
board made an error in its decision.
So I'm just suggesting that if the board does feel that way, they should incorporate that into the motion.
By saying that it wasn't necessary for me to recuse myself from this because I was not an abutter.
No.
No,
That has
no,
nothing to do with
that
the
has
hearing.
nothing, that has nothing to do with.
Well, that's one of the
requesting a
things
hearing.
that's
Could be
inflammatory
I-
about the statement.
Right, but it, right.
I mean, to be a little bit more exact, failure to state any area in which the board erred in its decision.
That's perfect, okay.
Second.
You made the motion. He just clarified.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
clarifying,
Hey, thank you.
Alan.
Thank
You
you.
should write that
I'll
one
approve
down.
that
Failure
verification.
to state
That
errors,
modification.
failure of him to state errors in the board's decision.
Yes.
Okay. We have the motion. We have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstaining? Motion carries 500.
Thank
Okay.
you, everybody. Welcome back.
And our next meeting is August, what?
So.
You say third?
I just-
Third, I
August
think.
3rd. Hang on, I just had the calendar up here.
Yep, first Tuesday,
Okay.
August 3rd.
And last but not least, we need motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Did everyone sign the two forms? So I can take it back to Kathy?
They went around that way.
Where at?
The applicant has it, has those two forms, all three.
Oh, but
Oh,
they need
you
to
have
go.
them, Judy?
I
Don't
gave
they-
them-
they need to
Okay,
go
so
to-
you're gonna bring them to Kathy?
Okay, Sandra, you made the
I
second
will. Okay.
for the motion to adjourn?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Thank you. Those signatures ticking like gold.
We're still recording.
Well, it shows it, but we're not necessarily on.
Okay.